Bullseye's on a rampage and he killing everybody, y'all. I mean, everybody. So today we're going to talk about what the hell's happening with Bullseye. Welcome back to Collard Greens and Nerdy Things, your favorite one-stop shop for all things nerdy. I am your host, King, and this is the greatest co-host in all the New York boroughs, JC3. And today we're talking about Daredevil season 2, episode 4. And man, we got a whole lot to talk about. So let's get the housekeeping out of the way. If you like what we do here, you enjoy nerdy content, you enjoy talking about Marvel, DC, and other franchises like that, join us here. Subscribe, follow us, share it with your friends, get in the comments, and let's just talk about some nerd stuff. That's it for now. So let's pop right into the show. Let's first off talking about the opening scene. Poindexter getting ready. One thing I noticed about him getting ready was he's very meticulous about the things that he does. Also, almost in an OCD way. He's getting ready. He's getting the day. He's feeding his neighbor's cat, which is set up for a sad fall later on. But he feeds the cat. He's getting ready. He goes to the diner and he's sitting down and makes a call to the anti-vigilante task force saying that the Punisher is in there and he's going to kill everybody. But we know from our view, this is a setup. So tell me, Jay, what'd you think about the whole scene?
I love the fact that we're getting so much more of Poindexter in the show now. I love that the episode started off with him, like you said, just, happily going about his day. And like, all my man wants is a milkshake and to take out some anti vigilante task force people. And, personally, I can get behind that. I think the opening sequence was done very well. I love his interaction with the waitress before he got his milkshake. I love how the ATV just busted in there, and like he was the one person that just kept his cool. But then as soon as they noticed him, he just started laying waste to everybody. And the only way that Bullseye can, the way that they capture him taking out the anti-vigilante task force is so amazing. Just the shots, the way they stylize, the way he takes people out with the weapons that he throws at them, it looks absolutely great. So I love that scene. I felt really bad for the dog though. Just saying that dog was whimpering a little bit before he left. But hey, as Bullseye told the owner, don't worry, I'm the good guy.
So crazy, right? Like Bullseye, we know Bullseye is like the guy who can't miss, but that boy don't miss. Like legitimately, that boy don't miss at all. And it don't matter what object he's throwing, whether it's a spoon, a knife, a fork, salt and pepper, whatever it is, he's gonna kill you. And that was illustrated best by when he put that toothpick inside of his mouth, then put the straw in his mouth, and then blew it right into that dude's face. Like, man, he don't need much to wipe out an entire squad. And I thought it was kind of funny when he was like, "Oh, Punisher pulled out a gun. Oh, he's gonna kill everybody," and then he just kind of hangs up. You know what I mean? Just getting them to get there as fast as they can, so that he could just mess them up. This is a very bullseye heavy episode, and really centers around what Poindexter's thinking, and he's tired of it, and he's ready to wipe out Fist people, or is he? Right? But on the other hand, we have Matt and Karen getting together everybody who was either working for Fist that was supposedly dead, or a couple of living people, one in particular who was on the boat as it blew up in the harbor. And they're trying to get these interviews and firsthand accounts, basically trying to get the people to say that Fisk was 100% involved in this boat that blew up, and that's part of the corruption plan. I don't remember if this is the first time, but it stands out as the first time for me that they really called him the Kingpin. And that was kind of illustrated by him writing the Kingpin on all of the documentation instead of saying his name.
Yeah, when it comes to like just the whole plot that we have right now with Matt and Karen, either recruiting people or interviewing people, getting as much like dirt on Fisk as they can, getting as many allies against Fisk as they can. It was interesting to see, but at the same time, it was just a little bit underwhelming for me personally, just because I feel like we just got the swordsman character. We saw him like go like all out with Matt in the last episode, and it kind of feels like he's like kind of bowing out at least for now for the rest of the season, just to do his thing. And that kind of made me sad a little bit, just because I wanted to see more of him and see his interactions with Matt and Karen. Again, especially since we haven't gotten Jessica Jones yet, it would be nice to still keep one of our main rebels on the team. But for all we know, he might come back in the show eventually.
I think that might be a moment where they take him off the board for a little bit, say he's getting his family affairs in order, and then later on, when we get into the later episodes, when we have this big fight, which we know there's that picture of all of them standing against, like, people wearing Daredevil masks, standing against the vigilante task force. Hopefully, that would be the time that they bring him back in and go, hey, yeah, also Swordsman's here, and we really get to see him in action, and maybe they actually give him a comic accurate suit, which would also be kind of dope. A little different for the MCU, but the MCU will spice it up instead of making it kind of corny and Robin Hood looking. But I also love that character so much, which him being there means he would have talked to his wife, right? And his wife was Kate Bishop's mom. So Hawkeye, Kate Bishop, would know that these things are happening. And somewhere floating in the background that we've not seen in these shows yet or talked about it would also be Echo, who put Fisk in the hospital. So there's a good chance either of those characters can pop back up. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. What did you think of the part of, we know Fisk is setting up this charity boxing event that he's about to do, high profile, but we know that Bullseye is coming to kill him at this moment.
What I thought of just that whole just the whole plot that we have with like the story that we're developing right now with Fisk and his charity fight. First off, we know that who's ever on the other side of Fisk is about to get tuned up real good and proper. But at the same time, again, this is a very Bullseye centric episode, and in this episode, we delve more into his psyche, which is a mess. But I mean, it's Bullseye, so you expect it to be messy. And in his mind, he's thinking he's doing the right thing. Again, he thinks he's the good guy. He feels like he's trying to balance the scales right now, since he was the one that killed Matt's friend Foggy per Karen's order. Now he feels that if he takes out Fisk, that will balance the scales and everything will be okay. Obviously, Daredevil's not okay with that. Obviously, that's not the proper way to go about things, but that's how Bullseye thinks, and we love him for it. And of course, that just leads to him invading and interrupting the charity fight that Fisk has with this guy, which at the end of the day might have been good for that guy anyway. He might have been knocked out actually. By the time Bullseye came, the dude was already knocked out, so he didn't even notice Bullseye was there. But that whole scene was very chaotic, and I personally enjoyed uh, the fact that not only did we have Daredevil save the Kingpin last season, now we've had Daredevil saving Bullseye from Fisk in this season. It's very interesting.
Fisk was beating the hell out that dude. Let's just keep it a buck. Like, Fisk was using his rage for Matt, Daredevil, and these vigilantes and the darkness that's in him. He was letting that out on that dude. And that dude was, the way they set it up is that dude was an actual boxer. You know what I mean? An actual trained boxer. And Fisk was beating the French toast out of that dude, like for sure. He's actually lucky that Bullseye came in because he might have kept punching his ass. And I don't know if the old boy would have had any teeth or consciousness left after that. That could have been a problem of his own. But Bullseye popping in, the chaos that he causes with all of these city officials, policemen, and everybody who's there. This place is also packed in security, but it's Bullseye. He's going to get through all of them. And as usual, here comes weapons from around the corner, just sticking the mark, hitting people. And Daredevil's trying to do what he can and stop both sides, but I think you're right. He did the right thing by pulling Bullseye back because Fisk was a little more prepared than I think Bullseye thought he was. But there was that little turn of events where Bullseye pretty much had Fisk dead to rights, tossed one of his weapons at him. It gets ricocheted by Kingpin and it hits Vanessa. And that itself is crazy as hell.
Yeah, yeah, very crazy. The way that they shot that looked absolutely amazing. Just the slow motion of Bullseye throwing that object at Kingpin, which I think was like a globe of New York City, or a likeness of Fisk's face on that, which just made it even more poetic. And then him shattering that whole thing, and then a shard of that getting lodged into Vanessa's head. Just the sheer shock on his face, her face, and quite frankly, our faces, I think says it all. Because Vanessa has been a very big player in this show since the beginning, and especially since she returned back in season 3. So it would be a shame to lose her now because she has had a good story in this show. But man, if she is actually gone, my question is, what's Kingpin gonna do?
The Fisk we would get after that, if she actually dies, the Fisk we get after that would be insane. He's going to lose all of his faculties. The one little thing that he had that would hold him back and speak reason to him was Vanessa, even though she's completely complicit in all of his crime. She was the only one that kind of talked sense to him. So if she dies in this next episode, we're getting a Fist that is completely unhinged and might take us to the next level, which might give us Daredevil Born Again season 3 that we already know is confirmed, and we already know a lot of good people or good teammates like the Defenders are going to be in that show. So I don't even know what could be next or what's going to happen, but it ain't going to be nothing good. That's for damn sure. And you touched on something that I thought was interesting to see Poindexter have remorse and feel like he messed up by killing Foggy really says something. And then when you get that juxtaposition, you kind of really think he wasn't there to kill Fisk. He was there to kill Vanessa. He wanted Vanessa dead for making him kill somebody that he didn't even deem worthy to kill, but he had to do the job. So, will that lead to him being more unhinged, maybe following her to the hospital and getting his revenge there? Or where do we kind of end up with the Vanessa and Poindexter? It's not done. And I don't think he's satisfied with what happens. So maybe everything ratchets up the next episode. I'm here for it. And we're gonna be watching it and covering it right on here at the Collard Greens TV page, y'all. So don't forget to follow us along. Let me drop my final thoughts and then we'll let Jay take us on out as usual. Man, this episode was king for me. It's probably my favorite episode. I'm going to give it a 8.5. It's not a perfect episode, but it definitely pushes the story forward and gives us it gave us a crazy cliffhanger to go on. And man, I don't know what's next for Hell's Kitchen and New York, but it ain't anything good.
Nah, not at all. And before anybody talks to me or tries to roast me in the comments, Vanessa was the one that got Bullseye on the Foggy. Boom, we're good there. But as far as my final thoughts on this episode go, guys, like King over here, I thought that this episode has been the best one that we've gotten of the season so far. Again, very Bullseye centric. We dive into his psyche. We have there was a couple things for me that just like that didn't work. Again, the swordsman just leaving, I'm like, oh, come on, man, really? And then we also had that scene with Governor McCaffrey talking with Vanessa about a subplot that may not even matter anymore because Vanessa might not be with us. So but other than that, I thought the action was great. Really also love seeing Bullseye's costume at work in this as well, and also just seeing his logo and ketchup on that door at the start of the episode. Chef's kiss, awesome. My question for the chat here would be, do you think that Vanessa is really gone? If she is, what's Kingpin going to do? If she isn't, are we surprised because it is Disney? I give this episode an 8 out of 10. Thank you guys for watching us. Please continue to like, comment, please subscribe, also share. And as always, till next time, stay nerdy, my friends.